He was actually on, Marty was on my channel yesterday, the Klingo Guru. He did a technical analysis of Chem Farm, KMPH, and it's not looking good. It's best case scenario in the near future is $3. So it's pretty bad.
It hasn't looked good for quite some time.
Yeah, but that hasn't stopped me before. Plus, you're talking to someone who's holding XRP and BTC and some meme coins. So to me, Chem Farm is amazing compared to those. So Marty's my bro-in-law, and this is the Chris and Dan show. And we like to have different experiences on different people, different backgrounds. We've had a climate change author, Pulitzer Prize winner. We've had Dr. McCullough, which was immediately blocked by YouTube. So you haven't seen it. We've had real estate mogul, Chris Heller, the home seller, author. So we're just going to have more guests on across different strata that Chris and I are interested in, and maybe even some that we're not interested in. But this one we are both interested in. However, Chris is definitely the more cerebral of the two, and he's the more analytical, because the stuff you were talking about yesterday, Marty, was like charts, numbers. Marty's got it all down. Chris, if Chris could be in another industry, if research fell off the map, I think he would consider day trading. Is that true or false, Chris?
I would be interested in that, yes.
Yeah, see, he's got it. He's got the DNA for it. I don't. I'm too impatient. But Marty, welcome, man. What got you into day trading?
Well, I got into day trading, something that I knew that people fail a lot. It's I wanted to do something challenging, and I started thinking about what could be more challenging than the stock market, right?
Especially right now.
Yeah. So I mean, I've been doing this for a little bit over 5, almost 6 years now.
Day trading?
What's that?
Day trading for 5 or 6 years?
Yeah. I mean, dabbing into the market, right? I mean, okay. I didn't know at first. I didn't know what I was doing. Obviously, I got into a company, charged me a whole bunch of money to teach me how to trade. Kind of, you don't know anything, so you don't realize what you're doing, what questions you be asking. So at the end of the day, I didn't feel like I lost the money that I invested. I felt more like I gained some knowledge of what I wanted to do. Investing in yourself, obviously, is not something that is money lost. It's money won at the end and stuff. So
certainly better than what you get out of most universities now. So
correct. So that's what got me into trading. Was obviously I am a full-time firefighter here in Arizona and stuff. So
I'm sorry, this is a little tangent, but you're not the brother that had COVID that was really sick?
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, that was you.
Yeah,
that was Marty.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I've been a fireman for like 17 years. About 5 or 6 years ago, I started looking into doing other things. So trading was. I mean, I did dab into other stuff, like get into like coding. But I figured that wasn't really what I wanted to do. And then I got into real estate. I did some wholesaling, and now I'm in. So I was like, yeah, you know what? I don't know, man. In order for you to be in real estate, you got to be relying on a lot of people, not only as title companies, but also an investors, yourself, the seller, the buyer, everyone else, has to do their part and stuff in order for you to kind of make a sell, right? Kind of get paid. And I didn't like the aspect of that because, if somebody dropped the ball, the whole thing failed. So I'm like, okay, I'll do trading, man.
Yeah, so that makes sense. You're more reliant upon yourself opposed to many others.
Yeah. So, like 5 or 6, like I said, about 6 years ago, I realized that, trading or getting into the stock market was super challenging, and 99% or 98% of the people don't make it. For the people that I know, obviously, people are very subjective, and they think that the market's rigged, and markets they take your money, and it's just gambling and whatnot and stuff, you know. And at the end of the day, it's like if you don't have the knowledge, you know, you'll think that way and stuff, you know. But once you start gathering some information and how the market works and how it flows and what you need to be doing, what things that you need to be looking at, and the things that you think that they're important, they're not really important until you learn something else. So it's driving me to obviously change my mindset in myself. And this is where I'm at now. It's obviously, I want to do this full time. I got 3 more years in the fire department. However, if I'm able to do this full time, I will leave the fire department in a heartbeat. So
wait.
In a heartbeat.
So you only have to put in 3 more years for full retirement?
yeah,
Oh no, you got to do those 3 years.
yeah, man. Yeah, no, I put a lot of emphasis on what I want to do, but
Oh, I would say
Yeah.
even if you were making $5,000 a day trading, I would still do the 3 years. I mean, that's
you-
guaranteed, right?
yeah, it is.
That's just my opinion. It's just
Yeah,
my
no,
opinion.
it is. But you know, once you do that, once you do this, you know, the fire department stuff, man.
Oh,
You know,
boring as hell, I'm sure.
well, it's not that, you know, there's a lot of psychological part to it and stuff.
Sure.
So
More stressful. You think it's
Yeah.
more stressful? So,
it's more about like I think, you know, like for myself is you know, you can only see so many dead people now.
no, I understand that.
Yeah.
Surely. And I'm sure car accidents are not a fun thing to deal with.
Yeah.
I would go home and probably have a few nightmares, but still 3 years, man. That's
Yeah.
a lot of life invested. Not to
Yeah.
just cross that finish line.
I truly believe that as well. However, I think that if you can make a retirement, you know, earlier and stuff, and in reality, you know, I already put numbers together, you know, at the end of like, you know, with my 20 years and 20 years more and stuff, you know, probably making like $2.2 million or whatever and stuff.
Mhm.
The market can offer you that within 6 months to a year if you're really holding into it.
I'm sure if you did well,
Yeah.
if
You know.
if you did
So-
it right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much you know about trading and stuff, you know, but you know, it does have the potential. I've seen it. You know, people, you know, coach makes at least 350 a day, you know. So
We're gonna nerd out on. You're gonna share your screen in a bit, and then Chris can throw out some stocks or anything. It doesn't even have to be stocks. Things you're interested in, Martin, tracking. But that psychological thing is like, you know, it's important because not every firefighter goes to do day trading, or not every firefighter even thinks about a second career. What made you want more?
for me,
Yeah.
what made me want more is that our mind can travel to wherever you want it to travel, man. You know, so the knowledge base, I believe the wanting to grow more as a person and as a mindset. And the only thing that I can think of is kind of like get into the markets, man. I mean, the markets not only teach you how to be how to think psychologically, you know, how human behavior reacts and stuff and how the market flows, but it also teaches you that you got to read and you got to just understand, you know, other people's mindsets and stuff, you know, in order for you to do whatever you want to be doing in the market and stuff. There's a lot of way of trading, man. I mean, it's not only day trading. Obviously, there's options, swing trades. You know, you can do day trade, or you can go, you know, monthly trades, or you can do long trades and whatnot and stuff. You know, so you know, whatever market you choose and stuff I categorize this as a construction deal, right? You know, like you're trying to build a house. I mean, you can't, if you're a plumber, you can't go do concrete. You know, you have to master plumbing first, and if you don't like doing plumbing anymore, then you learn another trade. You know, if concrete is what you want to do. So no different than the markets. You know, when I first started trading, I thought trading was everything. You know, like they teach you options, they teach you swing trades, day trade, everything, right? And you can't be a master of all if you can't master one. So
Wow. That's an Instagram quote right there. That's a good one, Marty. And yeah, the firefighter thing, last thing before we move on from firefighting, we could nerd out on your charts because that's where you specialize in. And I think that's where Chris has some deep-seated interest in his DNA. the average person doesn't know the stress of a firefighter in 20 years. What does it do? Like, I mean,
So
can you talk on that a little?
yeah. So obviously, I've seen guys retire, right? You know, one of my best friends, you know, I mean, a lot of best friends of mine have retired at 20, 25, 35 years. However, they die within 3 to 5 years, right? Either,
Retirement.
yeah, whether it's cancer, whether it's, you know, we are, every fireman is it's, they will die of cancer or a cardiac event. Every fireman. If you prolong your years, it doesn't matter if it's 25, 35 years in the service, you know, or 20 years in the service, you know, eventually something that you caught a long time ago, you know, would come out and you will die from it and stuff, you know. But, you know, for the most part, it's cancer and heart attacks.
So what's that due to? Is that like breathing chemicals and flames, fires and such?
Yeah. So when you go on a fire, man, you know, obviously we're fully turned out. After we knock the fire out, you know, we take our stuff out and I don't do this, obviously, you know, I keep my stuff on because I'm very cognitive of what happens, you know, what's going to kill you. It's like secondhand smoke, right? You know, somebody smoking, you don't smoke, you catch all the secondhand smoke, you're going to die before that guy that smokes. So no different than the fire service, you know, the combustion of a fire, right? You know, the combustion is happening, you know, that's not really going to kill you. What's going to kill you is the non-combustible stuff. The thing is still off-gassing. And that's why you're breathing all these chemicals and everything else. So that right there itself, you know, it's like, hey, if I can get out of the fire service as fast as I can, that's great. I mean, I have friends that passed away already, you know, 3-5 years of retirement, and they're gone because of a throat cancer or liver cancer or prostate cancer or any kind of cancers that can trigger whatever we inhale and stuff. And it's always traced back to the fire service. Obviously, we all document everything what we do in the fire department, you know. So you know, you're literally giving your life away for somebody else, you know. So even in a car accident, right? You can get run over by the guy that's turning his neck towards the accident, is not even seeing what's in front of him, and then they run you over, you know. Or even, you know, I'm a paramedic with the fire department as well, you know, somebody that spits on you, you know, somebody that you're getting an IV and this person has HIV or hepatitis or tuberculosis or whatever, and you accidentally poked yourself, you know. I mean, all the variables are there, you know. It's very risky job for the pay that we get, you know, the risk and reward. Obviously, now that you talk about trading, you know, what is the risk and reward, you know, in your life? What is it that you do, and what is it that where you want to go to, you know? Are you willing to risk your life for $80,000, you know?
Right.
So
Yeah.
those are some of the I mean, you don't do this job because of the money. Obviously, firemen don't get rich, you know. You do this job because you're passionate about it. I think at one point in time when I started being a fireman, I was really passionate about it. I'm not saying I'm not passionate anymore. I just say that my passion has gone to trading. So
I have one follow-up question, just because I'm kind of morbid, but interested. So what's hardest to deal with? A fire, a car accident, or a suicide? Which of those three are most difficult to go through?
I think every call is very difficult because you know, in a fire. So this is what people don't really think about this, you know, like, so when we go on a fire, when I first got hired, man, I want to go in there, knock the fire out, you know, I want to experience that thing. But then if you really start thinking about the community, right? Now think about this, man. That person that just lost their house has nowhere to go. The insurance doesn't kick in right away. And if you don't have family members, if you don't have any money saved, you gotta have to spend 6 months in a hotel or with a buddy or with a friend. You know, the Red Cross only gives you maybe 2 nights at a hotel until you get your stuff together. So that person that lost their house is what really like triggers my mind now. It's not about the fire. I mean, even though that it wasn't my emergency or my fault that that fire occurred, but then yet the family members that owned that house, now they don't have a house. And not only that, but were you able to save all the pictures, all the memories that they had in that house, and that's what really triggers your mind, and a car accident, were there kids that were ejected from the vehicle? That's a very traumatic event. You're doing your survey, right? You're doing your triage, and then all of a sudden, like the parents are unconscious, right, because of the impact, and you're treating the patients. You don't know how many people were inside that vehicle, even though you did a 360 around that car, but ejections can happen 60 to 100 feet out of the vehicle whenever the impact happens. So now the parents wake up and they're like, "Hey, it was my kid." Well, what kid?
Right.
We only saw you and your wife, and now the kid is dead because you failed to do a good recon on the on the perimeter.
Yeah.
And EMS call. I mean, EMS calls. Like the chaotic scenes that it's that person's emergency for wherever they called you. You're going in there. It's a chaotic scene already because grandpa fell or there was a domestic violence, or somebody got shot, somebody got stabbed, or ex medical stuff. You have to kind of be on your game to be able to determine what kind of route of treatment you're going to do. So all of those three, have their own factors on its own ways.
So what you're describing to me, it's more about the living than the dead. It's the aftermath of dealing with the living.
Yeah.
Right? Fire.
Yeah.
Car accidents. The living. It's not the dead that bothers you.
Yeah. I mean,
that impacts you
all the time and stuff. So you build a callus for that. Not only are you building a callus, but you're also building a like I was explaining to Danny, like a wall, in your mind and stuff, that you're just dumping those memories and behind that wall. But at one point in time, they start seeping and stuff. And
sure,
that's what PTSD causes and stuff. And I'm not to that point yet. However, I think what I'm doing is is going to give me an out for before it's too late, because I've seen it when it's too late, and it's not fun. When I see people that are really have PTSD or really have those cancer issues and stuff, that nowadays, man, everything is debatable, right?
Yep.
Hey, did you get that cancer here, or was there any pre-existing conditions prior to you getting hired, or do you have a history of cancer? So now you're fighting with insurances now, because they're not, even though they're going to cover you, but they're giving you hard time for that. And I don't want to get to that point, man. So
sure, makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't realize that about firefighters, paramedics. It's a lot that goes into it. And you're one that does both, right? Fire and paramedic.
Yeah, yeah. And my truck, I'm both and stuff. So, and I mean, there's a lot. Obviously, there's a lot more to the stories, and everything is it's fun, right? Until shit happens. So
which it always does.
Yeah, exactly. Like it and that goes with anything, right? I mean, with trading, you're getting a good a good coin toss. I call it coin toss now. But and then you get a shit trade, and you're like, oh man, how did I not see that one coming?
Is it easier? Do you think your experiences with dealing with traumatic stuff over 20 years is made you a better trader?
I think it has a lot to do with so I in order for me to make sense of things, I got to put two together, right? Like what experiences I've done in the fire department, or what experiences have the fire department given me to be able to be a passionate for trading, right? So I've looked at EKGs for 17 plus years, So EKGs is basically, electrocardiograms, when you put a monitor on a patient, we do that. I don't know how many times on the tour and stuff, but I've looked at EKGs I think as much as a cardiologist has, or even more,
Probably.
So, looking at EKGs, obviously, people just see lines and scribbles on it and stuff, right? And when somebody looks at the market, they see the same thing. they see like EKGs have a pattern, right? They have a pattern of P waves, QRS segments, ST segments, J waves and all this. And depending where the infarct or any kind of dysrhythmia is happening, you're able to detect that and also treat it with medication, right? With the markets, they behave in a certain way. When you see markets behaving chaotic, obviously those are not the times that you want to trade.
You need a medication for the market.
What's that?
You need to apply a medication to the market sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
build back better.
So you got to look at the patterns, right? You got to understand patterns, same as you understand patterns with EKGs, and you also have to kind of like look at what supply and demand is doing and looking at accumulation distribution. No different than if you're looking for information on EKG to treat a patient, then you'll look for the same patterns, not the same patterns, but you look at the EKG as same as the market and stuff. I think that's what works for me. It might not work for other people, but that's what makes sense to me.
That's interesting, man.
Yeah. So even with my coach, man, he's like, hey man, I have a lot of students that I've taught, but the way that you read EKGs and how fast you've learned the strategies that I taught you, it's like it's you even learn them faster than me. So I believe as the advantage is to be able to read charts and stuff, not only charts on the stock market, but charts on EKGs and stuff, so.
That's crazy. That's awesome example actually for two people in clinical research. We look at our fair share of EKGs, but we have our doctors assess them. So let's nerd out. Like, you want to share your screen and like, I don't know how you want to start this. You want to give like a brief overview of what, like maybe technical or trading? I don't know, whatever you want to call it, like technical analysis for dummies, like 3 minutes or something like that. And then maybe Chris can throw out some stocks or things he wants you to look at.
Yeah, sure. I mean, this is obviously, this is the US 30, the 5-minute US 30, almost mimics the Dow Jones. Today it wasn't a good day to trade and stuff, like as you can see, this is super junky, man. This is not something that we trade and stuff,
So this chart is just a 1-day chart.
Yeah, this is a 5-minute chart. So every candlestick represents
It's 5 minutes.
5 minutes, right? Correct.
Right,
Yeah.
but the entire chart's 1 day.
Yeah. So from let me shorten this up.
And is this
from this line right here, from this line, I don't know if you can see this line to this.
Yeah.
Line, this is 1 day.
Okay.
So this it's 24 hours, not 1 day. It's 24 hours. So this is the market opened yesterday at Sunday 3 p.m. right, and it closed today at Monday 3 p.m. and now this is a new day now for today, for tomorrow, basically.
It's the futures.
It's future, yeah. The US 30. So as the market forms, obviously, you have to have a kind of understanding where you're at as far as when you're reading a chart. You're not really looking at this area here, or you're not looking at this area. You're really, the way you need to do it. When I look at charts, I look at the overall picture, right? Which is what are we? We're in a downtrend, uptrend for the month, right? So this is almost the end of the month. We've been in a downtrend for 1, 2. I call this a downtrend because it's almost like, it didn't push high enough for me to say it's an uptrend. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months in the downtrend for the market for the year.
Sounds lovely.
Yeah. So obviously I do have a lot. All these lines that you see on my screen, they're key levels of support and resistance in other time frames. So wherever time frame I'm looking at, I'm always looking at different key levels of support and resistance and stuff. So for example, for the US 30, this is the monthly. The low of what I can say from the beginning to now, statistically speaking, back in what is this, March 1, 2020, obviously the pandemic, anything that happened in the pandemic, and if you were able to buy, man, you would have made bank. You would not even you would have a Bezos yacht if you want to. so
Unless you're a Russian oligarch, then they virtue signal by taking it away.
oh so I mean, one of the things obviously, key levels of support and resistance and where the market's going, right? The market's a downtrend. Therefore, I will not take a lot of uptrend or longs. I will do more shorts. That's my mindset for this stock. I mean, for the US 30. And as you go lower on the time frames, for the weekly, we're last week was an uptrend, and then this week obviously started with a downtrend. I'm gonna see if you can see it, guys. So as the time frames, as you move time frames, obviously you're gonna be looking at different patterns, right? Because as you can see, the monthly was a downtrend, but the weekly, last week was an uptrend, and it all evolves, within the ranges of that either bar or a candlestick. And then from here, whatever time frame, I always look at the 1 hour and then trade on the 5 minute. That's my strategy. And the reason I do that, but I'm not oblivious of not looking at other time frames and stuff. It just gives me a better kind of like understanding where I'm at as far as when I trade and stuff.
So if I can, a couple of questions. So your charts, are those whose charts are these? Are these coming from TradingView, Yahoo?
Oh, so this is my chart. This is an MT4 chart.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is a platform that I use, is MT4. I also use point and figure. I also use another platform called TradingView, and obviously I use my Thinkorswim for futures. So in order for you to kind of in order for I to take a trade, I got to look at different charts in order for make an entry. I just don't come in here and say, okay, this is what it is. Yeah, go ahead.
And none of those platforms that you mentioned will give you all of the different tools you want. You have to utilize more than one to get all the different tools.
Yeah. So in order, for me to kind of see what's happening and where price action might possibly go, I have to look at different platforms. Like if I'm trading, say I'm trading for example, just the pound dollar. I will, so let me look at that pound dollar right now. So let me go really quick so I can show you really quick. So this is the pound dollar on MT4, and this is the 5 minute right here. So, always look at the 1 hour or even the 4 hour to give you a better view where you're at as far as accumulation distribution. And for people that don't understand, accumulation distribution is like where everything has sold off, and distribution is where everything has sell off. So meaning distributions up here, accumulations down here, and then understanding the patterns, where you want to trade this and stuff. So in order for me to kind of look at this, I have to kind of look at my Thinkorswim for my futures to see what volume is, what's happening in the volume there. And if I see that there's more volume being sold or bought, then you make your rational decision there and stuff. I'm gonna be honest, the market is gonna do what it's gonna do. Where we think that this is the low for a hedge fund guy, it might be the mid trend, right? Because he already had bought way up here, way high, and he's already expecting for this to hit a different low, not the low that I'm thinking about. I cannot move the market. And if we grab a whole bunch of traders, they can't move the market. Like only hedge fund guys can move markets. They're the ones they have the billions of dollars invested in the market. So so if we even remotely think that we have an idea that hey, if I put a trade here, it's going to go up, you can't think about it that way. So the probabilities of that happening is like a coin toss when you toss a coin. I'm sorry. So trading is very interesting. The psychology part of trading is where it's at. You have to spend 95% of time researching your psychology level and stuff, where the markets are at, and maybe 5-10% on skills on trading. Anybody, it doesn't take skills to push the button, right? You know, to click on buy or
Sure.
sell.
So what are your triggers for buying and selling?
My triggers for buying and selling is basically accumulation, distribution, and faces, and the faces of what I just said. So there's different phases where you buy and you sell, right?
Mhm.
So for example, this would be, if I'm looking at this chart right here, this would be right here would be my selling climax. I'm sorry. Then I would look for opportunities for me to kind of like to trade, right? To trade to short. However, I understand that because this is on the buying or selling climax up here, I'm not gonna get any more buys, because this is the top right here. No, if one of these candles like supersede that resistant line, then the distribution side has not ended yet. So I have to wait for different tests, right? It has to test like different times.
So when you have a candle, when you have a close, and I'm not sure how you do it, but because you're looking at 5 minute and 1 hour and 4 hour,
yeah.
I would assume, making an assumption, that you'll put in a buy when you have a close above what, 50 day, 200 day. I mean, what's the trigger there to buy?
No, so it doesn't, for me, it doesn't work like that.
No,
I don't see trading with, I only use the 20 moving averages and the 20 and the 12 exponential moving average. It just as a tool, right?
okay,
It's just a tool that, yeah, it's above the 20 MA or it's below the 20 MA.
okay,
There's no like, if it closes for me, if it closes or if it doesn't, or if it opens above or below, what I see is there's a theory, it's called Richard Wyckoff. Wyckoff is a trader back in the 1800s that, if you research his name, you'll be able to understand about tape reading, and that's what we do. We tape read rather than look at candles. So basically, what I read is bars. This is what I read. I read bars for the ranges, and the range of bars from the open and the close, and see how much volume does it have, and then from there see what trend is going. So you don't want to be caught on a trend that is the opposite of what they're trading. You want to be with the trend, and how you know that is understanding the different phases of accumulation distribution. So I talk about phases. There's phases A, B, C, and D, right? So we only trade on springs or phases, either C and D. So those are our trigger points of trading. For example, like this is right here, what we're talking about. It's just I'm waiting for this sell-off right here, because I understand that there is a lot of key levels of support and stuff, but it's if it doesn't settle like right here, like it's like for this one, here's the distribution side. This is still phase A on the distribution, and this is redistribution, and I can say that this might be accumulation. However, it doesn't give me a good trigger for me to even trade it, because it's a consolidating mode.
so
Like, I don't trade any of this right here.
So you're slightly speaking over my head a little bit.
Okay.
So I see that resistance. So that one very large candle over a little bit to the right. It broke the resistance at I can't read the number, 1.28, I think. That narrow pink line, right? That's your resistance.
So are
right?
you talking about this right here, the very top one?
That's resistance too, but I'm actually talking about the one below it.
Okay, this one here.
Yes.
Okay.
So you have a candle over to your right, a very long candle
This
right
one
there.
here?
Yep, that one there.
Okay.
So it broke resistance. That's not where you'd want to accumulate, because it may have a further path down. No.
So because I'm always waiting for retest. I don't trade on the first candle, that especially on the ultra candle like this. And who knows, like there's a reason why this candle, we call this ultra candles, right? there's a reason why this candle is so long, it's because of either economic data or, something happened in the news, government, whatever that was and stuff. So when this kind of ultra candles bar happens, is because there was a reaction to some kind of a news or something on media. However, you don't want to trade.
Also, those are very common with earnings too.
Yeah. On the Forex, it's mostly for economics,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But on stocks, yeah, it's earnings and economic news, whatever they got going on.
Okay.
But for me, when I see ultra candlesticks like this, it's a sign for me not to trade because I don't know where the trend's going. It could continue going down if I think it's a buy right here, but there's not enough volume for me to even buy in these and stuff. And I'm okay if I miss this opportunity. Like this could be an opportunity here for, I don't know, not even 20 points, but 20 points on Forex is, you can, for one lot is $200, right? $200 on one lot. If you load up with 10 lots, obviously it's $2,000. However, these are not opportunities for me. Like I don't see this as any. That's why it's shaded gray, green. And this is something that I just kind of like pull. Even though that if we only saw this right here, there was nothing to the right. I would extend this all the way out until I see it break. So once it breaks from this, either to the upside or downside, I'm going to let it run until it stops. So now it stops right here. So so for here, this is for me right here is more about a redistribution, meaning that it has not finished selling off. I'm going to wait for retest, and I'm okay if it happens a couple times. Because what happens, when you always have to suspect a retest whenever there's a big drop and stuff. So I know for a fact that this is not going to end. A lot of people, what happens, they'll buy on this close of the second candle, the green candle here. Let me see if I can open it up. They'll buy here the second on this second candle here, thinking that's going to go up. However, if it does go up, okay, I'm okay not trading that. I only want to trade picture perfect trades. That's all I want to trade. I don't trade like BS like this. I wait until it finally kind of like, okay, now it's giving me a signal here. So now.
Okay, so you have that candle there that caught resistance, the green candle.
Which one? This one?
Further down, the next one down.
That one right here?
Yeah. So you see that it didn't break resistance. So where do you buy that?
Are you talking about didn't break this support down here?
Or support. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So you're asking me where do I buy?
Yeah.
I would buy. Are you asking where would I buy in this one?
Yes, on that candle, I assume, because it didn't break support.
So on this one, I would buy in this candle here.
Okay.
And I would put my stop loss on the low of this one here.
Okay.
So this is pretty much a trade that we took, I think.
So you're looking at what? You want 3 candles that are, well, it's not even 3, it's only 2.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, as long as like on this one's, I see that where this one closed right here. I don't know if you can see this red candle, this one, the last one here.
Yeah.
So this one closed right here, and then the next one, even though it's an undecisive candle, it's still open and close at the close of the previous candle.
True.
And then nothing else closed underneath that candle.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
So those for me are testing. It's a test of the market. That's it. That's no, if this trade was a fail, that's why I kind of want to wait until it really pushes up or pushes bullish for me to even buy it.
So
even though it dropped a little bit, I know for a fact that it's going to continue going up because that's my theory and my process.
And these candles are on 5-minute?
These are 5-minute candles, yeah.
Okay, so did you hold it? Where did you get out?
We got out here, as you can see up here on this one here.
Oh, so you almost timed it perfectly.
Yeah. So pretty much like.
So
Yeah,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
One more. Just how did you time it so well? Was it because it didn't break resistance? You got out right at the top of resistance.
So as soon as as soon as we see that obviously this form all the way up here, right? So there was no way I could see what happened right here.
Mm-hmm.
However, you want 1.5 times your risk, right? So right here, if we measure from here to here, we want 1.5 to go up here, right? So this is we're just measuring our profit target to be 1.5 of whatever our risk is.
Okay.
So that's how we time things. That we like if this one would have kept going, I would have still been out at 1.5 risk.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it goes up or down, but if it hits my 1.5, then we will be out.
So you have a target.
Yes.
Once it hits that target, you're gone.
Yeah. So to me, it doesn't matter how far more does it go, but what it matters is if my risk and reward, it matches what I'm risking to get out of the market, So that's
so Dan and I, and we're not giving a shout. I'm not trying to give a shout out, but probably the guy I watch the most that talks about technicals is Johnny Bravo. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He has a YouTube channel. Dan watches him too occasionally.
He's funny. He's a funny guy.
Yeah, he's got a sense of humor, but that's exactly what he does. Same exact thing what you just described.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know who he is, but I do.
Marty's a trained professional. He doesn't watch these Mickey Mouse YouTubers.
No, Chris. So I do spend at least. So I work 48 hours at the fire department, and we're off 96 hours. So I do at least spend about 70 hours every 4 days that I'm off. 70 hours. I think 70 hours I spent on looking at charts and
Wow.
obviously not only looking at charts, but like trying to evolve my psychology level on trading. I can say that from 5 or 6 years to now, that if I didn't get in with the right coach, if I didn't follow what he's asking me to do, I would still be doing the stupid mistakes that I was making back then.
Mm.
Because there is nothing more important than your skills. The most important part other than your skills is your psychology on trading. That's basically it doesn't matter. The markets can do what they're going to do, whatever. So your thought process and your ability to get in on a trade or whatnot and stuff and get a win is merely interesting. What it is important is that you understand why and how you got into that trade. And if you don't log your stuff, I got logs, man, like logs and logs of my trades and stuff. I can show you some of the stuff that I've done, from the stuff that I have. I have an AM logging book. I have a PM logging book. I have journals that I write on every trade that I do. I have, calculators, obviously, for basing risk and rewards and whatnot and stuff. Just books and just understanding, what is it that you're doing? Why are you here? Why are you sitting in this chair? What is it that you want to accomplish today?
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't understand those concepts and just trying to get in here and try to make money, well, the market's going to take your money. It's taking my money for the longest time until I started really honing in on what's important. And what's important is your psychology level.
So do you currently day trade actual dollars or do you just paper trade?
I do both. I test with paper trading, and I also trade my own money.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So that's people can paper trade all day if they want to. However, when they trade with real money, and I tell this to people, man, I say, hey, call me when you trade with real money, because it is not the same as you testing a strategy that you think might work to trading your own money and testing strategies with that. You don't want to do that. You want to test your strategy with your paper trading and get really comfortable for losing, because most of the time, people that get into this deal, they are going to lose money. And if you don't understand how to lose money, you have to kind of cherish the failures as you would with your winners.
Mm-hmm.
You got to do both. and there's a psychology to it and stuff. That's why you write down in the journal like exactly your emotions and how you were feeling. Even though if it's a losing trade, you got to write down exactly what your intentions were and what your emotions were. No difference than when you get a winner and stuff. So
Emotions are pissed.
yeah, no, yeah. And then, like I said, I mean, for me, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be crypto, it could be farm, like stocks or whatever, or forex or commodities or
Yeah, Marty's gonna join me like once a week on biotech. I'm just gonna talk like 5 minutes about a company like KMPH, and then he's gonna come on for 2 minutes and share his like technical analysis. But Chris, what are you do you want him to look at anything in particular, like any charts, stock, or anything?
No, I actually have some questions about Forex though.
Okay.
So can this be traded around the clock? Because Forex can be traded in all markets, right?
So forex is it's open 24/7. Oh, I can't say 24/7. They close at Friday at 1:30 p.m. and they open on Sunday. I mean, it closes at 1:30, but you can still get out your trades till 3 o'clock, right?
Mhm.
Then it opens back again at Sunday at 3 p.m.
And Forex is trading cash,
Currencies.
right?
Currencies, yeah.
Okay.
And to trade, like, man, so this is another thing, right? Going from commodities to currencies or to forex, it's another lion, man. Because you have to kind of understand how to pair them up, right? I mean, they already pair up for you like the pound dollar, the Canadian, or the US Canadian, or the US yen, or the euro dollar. But you have to kind of have an understanding what else goes with it and stuff. Like, for example, if you're trading the Canadian dollar and you're not looking at what oil is doing, and then if you don't understand it, then you lose money on the Canadian stuff, Canadian dollar, because the oil does work with it mimics Canadian dollars in a certain way. As far as if you're looking at futures for the oil and the futures for Canadian dollar, then you're doing yourself a disservice. You're not.
So is that because, and I don't know the answer to this, but is that because oil is Canada's biggest export?
Yeah, that's
the rationale.
Yeah.
So then Canada's screwed with Trudeau because he's all about green energy now.
But I couldn't understand your microphone.
So sorry, I was playing with my microphone. So Trudeau, he's very green, right?
Yeah.
So that should affect then Canada in the long run. No.
Well, yeah. I mean, to me, I don't give a shit about what happens. It can, like, with. I mean, I do, but I don't, because I trade what I see. So
Right.
if I see that that Canada's going green, and we have the problem with oil. Like I have a profit target of, I have a target. I don't want to say profit target. I have a target of $200 a barrel. And right now is running about a 107, 110, I think, or something like that.
Last I checked, it was like 115, but that was a couple weeks ago.
Oh, 150. Yeah, I think I dropped all the way to 103, and then it came back to 107 and 110. Okay. But anyways, like those opportunities, like the more volatile the country is, the better it is for me, because I don't look at the country and stuff. I look what I see on the charts and stuff, and if I see there's a whole bunch of volume or less volume, I know that it's either going to be a sell or a buy. I don't really, I do care to a certain point for economic data. However, I care about more what's happening in the charts in front of me.
Okay, understandable. But you also said that psychology plays a big part of this. So with that, how would you apply psychology to a Forex trade?
So it's like, no different than any other chart that we do and stuff, because we do more about tape reading rather than psychology and tape reading, obviously, more than the economic data. We do look at economic data for example, when Powell speaks, right? We know that day I'm not going to trade, because of the fact that the chaotic that happens within within the charts are going to be crazy. We trade after the statements because everything now regulates. So say that for that day the market, dropped 400 points, right, for a negative statement that he did. I know that the markets are going to balance, and they're going to balance back to where it was before. However, the retail traders are going to be trading back and forth and losing money like I did, and then I'm going to wait till it settles. And once it settles, then, I will trade whatever I see in front of me.
I think Dan's laughing at himself.
Yeah, I'm laughing at myself. That's why I just hold now. So I'll hold till I am dead.
Yeah, I mean, my way of trading could be way different than other people's trading and stuff. Like I do what works for me. And everybody has their own theories, right? Everybody has their own way of, hey, I only buy at support and I sell at resistance, and that's fine. If that works for them. For me, I like to see the bigger picture. Like I follow like Mark Douglas. I follow like all these old school guys that have passed away already, right? And they were super professional on their trade and stuff. And those are the theories that I lock into, because their theories still work, even though like right now, if we're talking about right now, like this era, everybody kind of wants to trade on a retracement, right? A 618 retracement. Well, you know what? That could work, but in reality, there's still enough people in the market where it's old money, and old money really like it's old school people that are still in there, and they're the ones that buy and sell every day in the market and stuff. So even though that the new guys of the new era now, they like to get into their indicators of support and resistance and the 618 Fibonacci retracements. That's fine. I mean, but do you know what you're doing it? That's the question. I don't like doing something that I don't know what I'm doing. I like to find the root cause of why I'm doing it. And that's why.
Can you explain that? I could look that up. I just never have, but I often hear Fibonacci retracement. I have no clue what that means. I've never looked it up though.
So Fibonacci, obviously Fibonacci, I can't remember, Giuliani Fibonacci from, I don't know, I did a research on him a long time ago and stuff. So he's the mathematician, right? Back
Yeah, I remember Fibonacci from calculus. It's prime numbers, if I recall correctly.
So the person that came out with Fibonacci obviously was the mathematician, but now when people try to use it on the market and stuff, there is like certain percentages that the market's going to drop a certain percentage, and it almost always retraces back from the 618 or the 38.0 levels. So
what's that mean? Well, what does that mean? 30.8 level or 6.8 or
so I can show you instead of telling you, like, for example, so how to use the Fibonacci tool, you go from the low levels to the top levels, right? So let me see here. I gotta close this up a little bit. So this is a 618 retracement right here. And this is the 161.8 retracement. I don't know if you can see it. It's a 2. Let me see. Can you see that right here?
I can't see the numbers, but I that's okay.
I see it.
Okay, so this is so how you use the Fibonacci tool, you go from the low end to the top end, and then you get these lines right here that represent like a percentage of how the market's moving on almost like a moving average. And then whenever it hits like 61.8, you follow that line, and it's supposed to give you like, okay, this is the retracement on this one here, because it's following the 6.8 right here. So people usually will buy down here for maybe at 38.2 or 23.6, 23.6 profit.
Okay, so they'll buy,
but it doesn't work all the time, Chris. People think that's going to work all the time. It doesn't work all the time. So when people say, "Hey, you got to always buy the 661 or 618 retracement," people can say, "Yeah, you know what? I bought it on this one."
Looks pretty close right there.
Yeah, but however, it doesn't work all the time,
right?
And especially if you don't know how to get the low and the high. Because this might be over here. Like some people would say, you know what? Oh shit! well, anyways, let me see. Some people would say that this might be the low right here, you know, like this one here, or I mean the high, or you know, however they want to do it at whatever time frame they want to do. It works, but it doesn't work all the time. And I hate being that person that I hope is not even a word for me anymore, man. You know, I want to be, you know, persistent with my trades and stuff, and that's what I do, man. You know,
Sure.
so
Hope
All
is
right.
Obama's campaign. What do you mean? It was on the entire. That's why he won.
yeah. So yeah, so for me, like my thing, what I want to do is truly be a professional. I don't want to be a wannabe. I think I want to be forever, you know, when I started trading. And I think
Yeah, I can tell. Yeah, I've known Marty for 15 years. I've known him since I known Dora, like
yeah.
maybe a week after I met Dora. And yeah, these last like 5 years, he's just got his head in these charts. Like, you know, he talks like he explains this stuff to me, and I'm just like, you know, out of my element. And I mean, I understand like maybe 30% of it, and Chris probably understands 60%.
Yeah.
But
Probably about right.
But yeah, like
it's
I said,
amazing
like,
though.
everybody has their own style of trading, man. You know, like you know, whoever watches this video, or you know, they might say something different, which is okay and stuff with however they trade it. If it works for them, good, man. You know, that's I
What
want
if someone watches this right now and says, "Hey, man, this is awesome! Like, firefighter, paramedic can do this, so can I."
Yeah.
But they don't know about the 5-6 years you put into this like paper trading stuff.
Yeah. Like, you know, like for my setup, obviously, I have like 6 different screens in here. And then I have one screen strictly for time, right? Because everything's based on time. So crucial tools that you need to have. Like I didn't have any of this when I started trading. I just had one screen, and I thought that's all I needed. But you need to be looking at different time frames as how you're trading and stuff, because as something can move and something that you didn't look to your left, that is going to cost you to lose that trade. That's another thing, man. You know, are you able to get out when the trade is not a good trade? And a lot of people think that they want to hold on to the trade because, oh, I will only lose if I sell it. Well, no, man, you're losing now, you know, as price action, you know, continues to drop or go up. So therefore, you know, that's another psychological level that you have to kind of like understand exactly what's your risk, and don't be moving that risk around, man, because once you start moving your stop loss for another 2%, because it's basically almost like a 2%, you know, from your money and stuff. But once you start moving your stop loss, say you can take another 2%, well, that's 4%, and plus your another 4% that you already, or 6% that you thought that the market was going to go. So in order for you to break even, man, you have to go up 8% and plus your 6% that you have private target. But the market only moves anywhere from 90 to 100 points, you know, 90 to 100 points a day. So for somebody to be thinking that they're going to get what they want, you know, from a point that it's a losing trade, you know, they're wrong. I did it. I'm not going to say I didn't do it. I always moved my stop loss and thinking that the market was going to move again. I never had that idea that, oh, you know what, it needs to move up another 4% plus my 6% that I had on there. That's not going to happen.
So if you're doing day trading, how is it that you find the trade? So what I mean is there's literally thousands upon thousands of different companies and things to invest in. So do you have like 20 favorites that you watch to see where the right trade is, or because you can't possibly watch everything?
No. So this is my screen right here. This is the only things that I trade. I don't trade anything else. I don't trade stocks.
So you have what?
So I got gold.
It's like 18 things.
Yeah, I got a gold, oil. I got the DAX. I have NASDAQ, the SP 500, the UK, US 30, the euro pound, the euro yen, the pound yen, the pound dollar, the US Swiss, the US yen, the US Canadian, the dollar. I look at the dollar all the time. No, I don't trade it. I just look at because the dollar is the leading currency for every market.
Mm-hmm.
And I got the euro, dollar, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. Like yesterday, I think I told Dan that I think I made like
Yeah.
$1,600 in Ethereum, you know, so.
Yeah, that was sweet, man.
So, so none of those outside of, I guess, the 30, none of those are equities. They're all
almost currencies, yeah.
Yeah.
Currencies and crypto. I don't, like I said, the stock, the actual stocks are the you know, like even what Dan was having me watch yesterday and stuff, you know, I don't know. I don't know any of that, any of what's going on. I don't do fundamentals. I don't do fundamental analysis, and I don't want to dig into that because I don't really care where the company's going. I only care if that company or if that stock is going to make me money or not.
Well, I guess currencies and crypto make the most sense in terms of you can trade those almost all the time, right? There's 24/7 market opposed to equities. You have a set
Monday
market. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, if there's a stock like somebody says or whatever, let's just say the GMC, right? Mm-hmm. They're like, hey, let's trade GMC. Well, I'm going to look at GMC. I'm going to see where they're at as far as distribution and accumulation. I'm going to see what phases they're in, A, B, C, D, E. And if it makes sense for me to trade it, then I have to do a psychological level that they're going to trade it to, right? Mm-hmm. So whatever, if it's at 32 and the next psychological level is 50, because psychological levels are 20, 50, 80 and zeros, then, you know, that's where I'm going to trade it to. So those are the things that
he was telling me about, those psychological levels this weekend.
Yeah. So those are the things that people don't know, don't understand. Like, I don't want the whole piece, like the whole, I mean, I don't want the whole pie. I just want a slice of that pie. I don't really care about, you know, like how far it's going to go. As long as it hits my profit target that I'm looking for, then that's all I care. And then I'm done. I'm done with that trade. I go with the next one. And probabilities, you know, me and Dan, we're talking about probabilities. There's a lot more to the science of that than what people really think about that. Then you start hitting like quantum levels and whatnot and stuff, you know, if you really want to dig into it. But at the end of the day, it's like, you know, what are the probabilities of a coin being tossed, you know, 10 times? What are the probabilities going to be head or tails, you know? So there's formulas that you got to go to. I'm right now, like I was telling Dan, you know, I was working on this Excel sheet spreadsheet yesterday.
Show it. Can you show us?
You know, it's in my other computer.
Oh, okay.
It's you know, it's in my.
It's pretty impressive, man.
So
he reminded me of you, Chris, like more and more, man.
Yeah. So you know, we're taking down like for any currencies or any stocks, basically more of stocks than currency, because, you know, stocks are currency is so volatile that, you know, back and forth and whatnot and stuff. But you take the average of the low of the high and the low of the day, and then it gives you the average for that, and then you do a variance to that, and then you do a medium to that, and then you do your probability equations and stuff, which I haven't written down somewhere. I don't know where they're at now. So there's formulas to all this and stuff that you can, you know, figure out what the probabilities are as far as the stock, you know, giving you in a 365 day or a 1 year, 2 year, or even a 90 day or quarterly and stuff, you know, to see where that stock probably might be trading.
Maybe tell Chris and I'm going to make us bigger real quick. But maybe tell Chris as we wrap up that probability. So the coin flip 10 times, right?
Yeah.
Let's say, Chris, you flip a coin, heads or tails 10 times, right? The theoretical answer is 50-50. But in reality,
sure,
what Marty was telling me,
it is
you need
50,
more.
Yeah, it is 50-50 if you do it enough, right? It's like a million or a billion or whatever the case might be. It's 50-50.
But not 10. 10 is not enough.
Right.
And a lot of trading mistakes happen because they only see like small sample size instead of studying as far out as they can.
So there's actually I can't remember who invented this, but there is a way to beat roulette, guaranteed, right?
Oh,
yeah. We were talking about that yesterday. Go ahead, please do.
Yeah.
But the problem is like Las Vegas and everywhere else set limits on how much you can bet, right? So you will run into those occasions where you're going to lose if you're just betting black or red, right? You can win so long as you can bet enough, right? But if you start at $10 and you're doubling it every time you're losing, if you get to the limit, which is usually 1,000 at most Vegas joints, right? You can easily hit that with, I don't know what the multiple is there. It's probably 10, or less. So being that you can't go any higher than that, you're going to lose all your money, right? I'm explaining it kind of poorly, but hopefully you get what I'm saying.
So with exactly what you said, Chris, there is a theory, right? Especially with the coin toss, right? When they say, hey, how many times, if we toss this coin, how many times would it be heads and how many times would it be tails? Now, this is where the probability theory comes along, right? Because now, if the same person tosses that coin 10 times, what are the chances of being 50-50? Well, that's because it's 1 and 1, right? 1 and 1, and then you divide it by 2, it's 50-50. So now it also depends the variables, right? You gotta add into the variables. So the variables are, if you flip that coin, and then that person that catches that coin, if he catches it up high, it's a one variable. Catches it in the middle, it's a different variable. Catches it in the bottom, one more variable. The last variable is if it tosses and it hits the ground and now it rolls, that's a different variable. So it's just the consistency, right? The consistency on how, if somebody's really truly like doing the research, like how it was tossed, what force, where was it catch,
sure,
and all this variable. So as trading happens, people only look at price action. They're looking at what is the price action right now? Where might it be? Well, nobody knows because there's all these variables, right? But then when you start doing probabilities and you're understanding the theories of how and why and where might the hedge fund guys already have bought or sold, or where they want to buy or sell. So those are, like, I'm not trying to find any of that out. All I'm trying to find out is if my trade is it going to work? Why? Because I'm looking at distribution, I'm looking at accumulation, I'm looking at volume, I'm looking to where the trend's at. I'm looking at is that pattern recognizable for me that I could trade it? I don't know if I'm right or wrong. All I know is that at the end of the day, it's going to be a fail or a win trade. And if it's a win trade, then it's good. But how many times can I continue winning a streak? There's no telling, right? It's like the coin toss. You can't tell. But can you close that gap between your losing trade? And that's what a lot of people psychologically cannot understand.
Yeah, that makes sense. And just FYI, it's martingale, the roulette strategy.
Martingale, okay.
Yeah, if you're interested.
Oh, yeah. And then we kind of like did a little research on that. They're saying that the guy that throws that barrel or whatever, or that bearing or whatever that thing is, that ball, whatever that thing is.
Oh, the roulette spinner, the spinner, right?
The spinner.
They're trained.
Yeah, it changes the way, if they spin it, if they just roll it, if the pressure they use, all this other stuff, right? So those are the variables that I'm talking about. Like I just not look at the toss. I look at the variables to figure out where it could help me out. That's pretty good.
I get it. Makes sense.
Yeah, you just got to be more detailed. I guess pay closer attention to the smaller details and the bigger details, because
Chris loves
details
that
are there.
That's why I think I'm almost convinced Chris would be a day trader if it wasn't for clinical research. I'm pretty convinced about this.
Don't have the time for that right now, but yeah,
exactly, not right now. But if it wasn't for probability, it would be high. If we're talking probabilities,
possibly.
My opinion. Well, thank you, Marty. I mean, geez, we can do this forever. It's just good to get the firefighter paramedic story to start out, and then kind of get into the charts and see your mentality, and interesting to see how the experience, no matter what your experience. So we tell people all the time, no matter what your previous experience, there's transferable skills to whatever else you want to do or you're interested in.
Man,
And you have a perfect example of that.
yeah, if you put your mindset, I mean, like we talked about this, man, you know, everything's mindset, man. I don't care who you are, where you are, or what you want to do. But if you do not do this 24/7, then don't do it. You know, just continue doing what you're doing. That's what I think.
You're gonna get a lot of people watching our reaction videos say, "Hey, wow, this is cool, man. I want to do trading."
Well, again, you know, the only reason that you're not to where you're at is because of excuses, right? At the end of the day, you know, we find excuse to do everything else except for what we wanted to do.
Too bad more Americans didn't have that philosophy these days.
Oh yeah,
They're all about excuses for everything.
Look at just like all this. I'm not even gonna get into that.
Get into it. Get into it. It's Chris and Dan show. You can get into it,
dude, bro. Look at this. Like instead of doing all the shit that happened, you know, on the streets, dude, you can do things more productive.
Yeah.
Kind of, you know, working that mindset and stuff. So I'm just I guess I'm more of a proactive guy than a deactive guy. So I'm trying to be more proactive with my mindset and stuff. And yeah, we can go levels and levels of knowledge, you know, to be able to get where we want to be at. But there's always that ability that you want to do more, you know. So and that's where I'm at.
I completely agree with everything you're saying. You only have you to blame.
Yeah, and it's a short period of time, right? We're here for a short period of time.
Yep.
You know, so might as well maximize the time. You know, I've been you know, I've been telling Dan this. I've been digging into this this mindset and stuff of you can make 3 days in one day, right? You get up early in the morning at 5 o'clock. You start your day at 6 a.m. and then, you know, you finish that task at noon, then noon to 6 to midnight. That's 3 days in a row that in one day that you can accomplish a whole bunch of stuff if you task it the right way. You know, a lot of people.
That's what we told Shrapnel, he wants to be a rapper. We told him make 100 songs a week.
Yeah, 100 songs a week.
Oftentimes it takes a lot of drive that people do not
have. We were talking about that yesterday too. Yeah, me and Marty get into these conversations and it could last for hours. Luckily, we invested in a swamp cooler for the patio.
Yeah,
because it gets hot here, and it works well for these conversations. Chris, by the way, did you get your Yuma Clinical Trials polo shirt? They said you would get it by Saturday.
Actually, my daughter brought in a package the other day.
Oh, that's probably it.
I don't know where she put it, so yeah, I'll have to
that's it.
Ask her.
Well, man, Marty, yeah, we'll have you on again, man. Like, it's only a matter of time until you write a book on this, you know.
Yeah, you know what?
Honestly, man, as somebody who's always been intrigued by day trading, but intimidated by it at the same time, I probably wouldn't like it. But like when I actually look under the hood, but there's people who are like maybe Chris. Chris knows more than the average, but maybe lesser skilled than Chris, but the same mentality. They would buy a simple book. Like if you explained it, like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, just like what we do for research, like in plain English, like, and what you said about the tape reading, there's so many strategies. If you just master one, you know, you'd have a following. It's kind of what your coach has done, more or less.
Yeah. There's investments and coaches, man. It's like if I would have known that when I was 10 years old or 15 or 20 years old, to invest in somebody that has already done your path. Because they, you know, why reinvent the wheel if somebody else already did it and stuff, you know? I would have loved to tap into a coach, you know, early in my years and stuff. And the importance of that, man, it's like amazing, man. It's like no different than you, Dan. You know, there's people buying your classes and stuff, man, you know, and you're a coach to them, then, you know, that's a first step to becoming, you know, somebody in life and stuff, you know.
It's why sites hire us, me and Chris, to help them start a site. I mean, it's a product I created because I would have bought it when I started my site, and they didn't have such a thing. I was begging people to do it who had experience, and I was going to pay them 5x what we're charging now. In 2005, this like maybe 7x what it is today. So yeah, man, I agree. We got to do more. But thank you for coming on, and everybody can go follow Marty on TikTok. His TikTok is underneath. He's not really on any other platform except TikTok.
Yeah,
which is interesting. Why did you choose to do this way?
You know what? It's I just wanted to kind of like do like an experiment, you know. So
are you a Chinese spy?
Yeah, I am a Chinese spy. Yeah.
Chinese spy, man.
I'm not really big on I think what I believe is that you should not be wasting, like me, for me. Like I have a lot of stuff I have to accomplish the whole day, you know. And my things are more knowledge based and repetition. And I, you know, whenever I have some free time, I look at my TikTok and stuff, you know, but for the most part, man, I'm just looking at my charts and looking at strategies, man.
TikTok's been amazing growth tool. I've been telling Chris, like,
yeah,
I've been putting my own money in it, $20 here and there, occasionally reimbursing myself from DSCS when I think it's fair. Sometimes I just do it for my own brand, but a lot of times, maybe half the time, it benefits one of our academies.
Yeah.
But man, like the growth on there is insane.
Yeah.
I was ignoring TikTok too long because I thought, well, it's Chinese Communist Party and all that. But once you get over all that, like they're already spying on you guys. They're no matter what app you use. Like Chinese news flash, they hacked all of them, including Facebook, including Zoom.
Yeah, everything
that we're on right now. So it's no different. Just the fact that they're, you know, they state that they're Chinese owned at that point.
Yeah, I think of whatever level you're in and stuff, you know, maybe later in the years and stuff, if I want to do some YouTube stuff or videos and stuff, you know, it's never too late to start.
Nope.
However, you know, like I have to be more proficient at what I'm doing and stuff because I have a big goal and stuff, man. So.
And you ever want to come react to certain music, let us know. We'll react to it. We have a reaction channel. And
oh, nice.
Yeah, you just let us know.
Yeah, for sure, man.
But thank you, Marty. Thank you, Chris. Anything else, Chris? This is your chance, man. Day trader.
I think people are going to question your name, Marty. So Dan's calling you Marty, but it says Martin.
Martin AZ.
Oh, I don't see an R.
Martin.
Is there an R in there?
Oh, that's a typo.
Oh yeah, there's no R.
Okay. Okay. That makes more sense then.
The R stands for recession.
Gotta remove the R. Huh?
Yeah. The more volatile the markets are, the better for me.
Okay.
That's all I gotta say, you know.
I mean, that's a great slogan. People would hate you though. What would you say to the liberals who say, you know what, Marty? Let's just talk. Let's just be real here. And Chris too. You know, I'm a moderate. You guys are right leaning. If right vertically, horizontally. But
I would tell him to get a job, bro.
You don't even know what I'm going to ask, man.
I would tell him to get a job, man.
Okay, so yeah, I hear you. So the liberals, I was on Twitter the other day, and there's these people. They're always ranting on landlords. Like it's because of people like you that my housing prices are so high. You should only buy a house to live in it. And for sure people are talking crap. I just haven't been attuned to it on Twitter about traders. Like, oh, you're taking advantage of volatility. Shame on you. You know, for sure you're gonna get this. Well, not you because you're not on Twitter, but you know, people like you. So what do you say to this?
So what I say about people that are lazy like that, you know, I want to tell them that they have to kind of like understand that life is not about, you know, flowers and daisies and stuff. You know, you gotta go out there and get yours, you know, and if you can't get it, somebody else will, like me.
Completely agree.
Yeah, but then they complain. Well, that's the problem. You know, I can't get mine because you try too hard.
Yeah.
So why do I have to support your lazy ass?
It's like no different, right? All the Mexicans are taking the Americans' job, you know. I said, man, nobody wants to go pick flowers and pick you know, fruit and lettuce, you know. I was doing that at one point in time, you know, like back, man, when I was living in Yuma.
Shout out to Yuma. It's an amazing place.
Yeah, shout out to Yuma. I used to go to the farm fields and pick lettuce, cauliflower, watermelon, cantaloupe. And I decided that, hey man, there was an old man. This is a short story. There's an old man there. He's like, hey man, what are you doing here, man? and you know how to speak English, man. Let this job be for the people who can't even write. And I'm like, well, yeah, this is the only thing that's available right now. I said, no, you just ain't looking hard enough. So after that, I started thinking like, yeah, you know what, this job really sucks, man. I'm bent over 24/7, taking all this freaking cantaloupe or whatever and stuff. So I'm like, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna go get a job at a store. So I went to get a job at a store. They hired me right away. I was making obviously more money than what I would have made at the fields and stuff, man. And then from there, I started thinking like, man, you know what, this kind of sucks too, man. Like working, so I worked for a bakery for like 13 and a half years. But when I was there, like within 8 years, I'm like thinking to myself, like they used to fly me back and forth to Vegas. I came in as a dock loader, and then I promoted to like foreman, team leader, superintendent, and then they promoted me to regional manager or whatever and stuff, and they were flying me back and forth and to Vegas, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. So I went and drove trucks for the last 4 years to there. But in between there, I was taking classes to become a firefighter, man. So, but prior to that, I was going to become a police officer. I passed all the tests, and then I'm like, man, I'm allergic to bullets and stuff, man. I don't think I'm going to get shot. So
Pretty common.
Yeah, so I was
good timing.
That
was a good trade.
To go to the academy for police within 2 weeks, and then I kind of just declined the offer, and then became a fireman after that. But
you saw the candlesticks defund police, and you got out.
Yeah, they were trying to defund the police and stuff back then. No, but after that, 2 years later, I became a fireman, and then when I hit my 10-year mark as a fireman, I was already thinking like, what is it that I want to do next? So trading is what I'm doing now. So everything you got to follow a process for me, at least. I know that, I couldn't be a fireman, forever. So I wanted to do something that is going to provide for me and my family, wealth, so this is it for me. I see that firemen that retire, man, they go work at somewhere else, man. And I don't want to do that, dude. They go work for a school, or they go work at, just to try to keep their insurance up or whatever. Well, I don't want to be that. I want to be somebody that is going to.
You want to improve your living standards,
exactly.
Just not maintain them.
Yeah, maintain or lower them. Like I don't want to.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at, and I think the mindset of reading, the mindset of knowledge and educating yourself, and having.
Yeah, you gave me this book.
Yeah,
you gave me this book the other day. I got to read this thing.
Yeah. So like me and Dan exchanged books all day long and stuff. We have pretty much the same interest in one.
I'll give him McCullough's book next. We had him on the show. Did you know oh yeah, I said in the intro, they banned it. YouTube banned it within 3 minutes of it being uploaded. But on my channel, they didn't. On the Chris and Dan show, they have no respect for it because we're like making fun of like Italian and rockers.
And we're too new.
Yeah, we're too new. But now we're older. So we got people like Marty on doing day trading. This is a first. There's no reaction channel doing this diversity. You want to talk diversity? This diversity of subject matter. And we're going to continue because why not? We want to up our living standards.
Yeah. So somebody that they came from, that was born in Mexico, man, and work in the farm fields.
Oh, you were born in Mexico, huh?
Yeah. And work at a bakery, work as a fireman, now become a trader. There's no limits to this world, dude. If you think about it.
If you work hard, man.
There's limits depending on where you live. I mean, some countries, there's limits.
Yeah. Well,
you live in China, you got limits. You live in North Korea, you got limits.
But see, then you have to be smarter, right? You got to go and
how do I get the hell out?
Either that or hang out or join the guys. Hey, man.
Well, CCP pays well, good benefits.
Yeah. There
Until the revolution comes.
So that's the mindset, man. I'm not gonna be, I'm not gonna be just sitting around. I'm gonna go see what the hell I can do to make more money.
Well, if you have freedom, it's a little easier.
Yeah, it's true. That's why we're here. That's why we're here in this country, man. People don't understand that.
Yeah.
You go to different countries, man. Oh my God, go to Mexico. They'll show you freedom over there, man. But you got to work their ass off.
Yeah.
They'll show you freedom. You just got to be worried about getting kidnapped.
Yeah.
And have little to show for it a lot of times for working your ass off.
Oh,
unfortunately.
Man. Yeah. There's always something, right? But the excuses are, if you're not trying, then you're you're really like not giving yourself any opportunity. So
Yeah, I don't somehow we're on politics, but everything
I
kind
knew
of
you
evolves
guys
to
would.
Yeah.
I'm the
But-
moderate here, guys. Before you unsubscribe, don't worry.
that.
well, it used to be probably a little easier in this country to go from nothing to something. But that being said, it's still very possible. You can
Oh,
come
yeah.
here absolutely with nothing, and you could be the next.
I think the problem is
Elon Musk.
the problem is entitlement, and it's
Yeah.
not just with lower income people. So I had this girl reach out to me on LinkedIn. I don't know her. She said, "Hey, I just got my master's degree, and I don't even know what it is, man, like education or something. And I can't, why do I have to be a coordinator like your CNA, for example?"
So
And I
they
said,
don't want
well, my
they don't-
ROI as an employer doesn't care right now. Right now, it doesn't care you have a master's degree. Maybe in a year it will, but my risk-free dollars, I'm the same risk putting into you as to the CNA. And at least she can draw blood, and she doesn't care about collecting urine samples. And you, with your fancy master's degree, you're like a little too prissy for that. But my ROI will come from you later. But how do I know you're gonna make it that far? So when I told her that, she's like, "Oh, well, I'm not entitled." And
yeah, right.
sorry if I came off that way, is what she
Oh.
said. I said, "Well, it's no big deal. Just go out there and apply to like 100 clinics near you." She's not in Yuma. She wasn't trying to work for me. It's just hypothetical what I gave her.
Sure. Well, but I agree with where that started, at least where I thought it was going, that people just aren't willing to put in the work. They're
Yeah,
not.
because they think that if they got a master's degree in something that's not even practical,
Well, they
that
think
they're
already
entitled to it.
that was the work. They think they already
Yeah.
put it in.
They think they put it in, but that's a scam. The banks
Yeah.
got rich off of student loans.
Yeah.
Still
Yeah.
getting rich off of student loans. They sell you a lie. The only degrees worth getting are something practical: doctor, scientist, lawyer, engineer. It's not mastering lesbian dance theory.
Certainly
mean,
not.
What are you going to do with that? You have a master's in dance, and you want to get paid more than my CNA in clinical research. Like, it's not going to happen. My CNA knows more about what we're doing than you do, unless you're going to dance for the patients in the waiting room.
They'll tip you $1.
They got $50.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
our clinic in San Bernardino was right across from a strip club, and we paid our patients $50. It was gone before they even left the block, because they went right after they went to the strip club.
Definitely for some of them. Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, man. Well, what a good podcast. All right, we'll end it on that. Hopefully not too many people unsubscribe, but if so, it's Chris's channel at the end of the day. So
Oh, thanks.
yeah,
It's kind of both of our channel, but sure.
it is Bud, but your name's first. So thank
Oh.
you, Marty. I appreciate it, man. One day we'll have you come on and like talk more about this stuff, because it's good.
Yeah. It was a pleasure being here. And again, let's just work on different mentalities and see where we go. So
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Marty. That was very fascinating.
Yeah. Any questions, man? Just Dan can share my phone number with you and stuff. And if you have
All right.
questions about a stock,
I'll send a
that'd
group text.
I'll
be
tell
great.
you, I'll tell you how to lose money.
Thank you.
You can write that book. You can
Yeah.
write that book. Oh, did you see that tweet from Ivan on Tech I sent you in the morning?
Oh yeah.
The guy, check this out. We can end with this one. The guy sent this guy, Ivan on Tech, the guy that used to bully me in school and I secretly hate. This is why I love Twitter, Chris. You gotta put your politics aside and get on there. The guy that used to bully me in school and I secretly hate asked me for trading advice. I wanted him to lose money, so told him to do the exact opposite of me and short support last week. He made $9,000 profit and I got liquidated. That's awesome.
That's how it
called
works.
karma.
Yeah, that's how it works, man. You always gotta think about the other person rather than you. Especially if the guy bullied you at school. So
Yeah, man, he's still bullying you
He's
as an
still
adult. That's a major loss right there.
oh
Major
my
loss.
goodness. Yeah, that's good.
Like, subscribe, comment, share, guys. Thank you, Marty. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you,
Catch
Marty.
y'all later.